Hey, I'm Andy Aledort, and in this edition of In Deep, I'm going to be talking about soloing ideas. The column is called Easy as 1, 2, 3. That's because I'm going to talk about soloing on one string, up and down the fretboard, just staying on one string, then moving to two string pairs, but doing the same thing, just staying on two strings, moving up and down, and then three string groups. And the reason for doing this is one of the most common questions I've heard over the years from students and just from other players is, how do I break out of playing the same stuff all the time? I feel like I'm playing the same licks all the time. And the easiest way to do that is to stop playing positionally and stop going where your fingers go just by muscle memory. So there's a couple added benefits from learning your scales up and down a single string or pair of strings. You're fortifying your knowledge of the fretboard and your musical ear by knowing what you're listening for and the sounds you want to get, while at the same time giving yourself much more freedom and range when it comes time to solo. A guitar player that I used to love to go see for his soloing, for everything, but specifically for soloing, was Frank Zappa. Frank is someone who much more often would go way up and down the neck just staying on two or three strings than to play in one position. And even though in some ways it may seem counterintuitive to do these huge positional jumps, in other ways it gives you musical advantages you don't have otherwise. So there's all these benefits to doing that. So let's start out. We're going to be sticking in the key of G and using G minor pentatonic and the G blues scale, and we're going to start by playing everything on the third string. All right, so as I mentioned, our scale that we're focusing on, well, the one of the two, is G minor pentatonic. If you were to play that in third position, the way most people play it, and the G blues scale would be like this. So it's just like minor pentatonic, but we add the flat 5. Now, let's play G minor pentatonic just on the G string only. I'm going to play it like this. A good way to practice that is to play it ascending and descending repeatedly. So what I do is I use slides to connect between the fretboard positions like this. And you want to practice that up and down until you build up some speed. All right, so what happens is, using slides and hammer-ons and stuff like that, that's going to force you to come up with different phrasing ideas too. So not only will you be forced to play different melodies and things you wouldn't play that you normally play by sticking in one position, you have to use different articulation techniques too. It gives you a chance to play musical ideas in a different way with slides and hammer-ons, pull-offs, and bends. So the next 4 examples are just licks on the G string, moving up and down, creating some different sounds. Okay, so in that example, I'm starting off with a slide down and then a pull-off, actually a double pull-off. Slide back up and bend up a whole step, or 1.5 steps. And then I kind of work my way back down. So using that open G string, that's my pedal tone, it just gives me the chance to create melodies in a different way. Okay, in this example, I start with that whole step bend and release, and then I work into these like triplets moving down, a pull off and a slide. And I like to bend that flat 3 from minor third to major third to strengthen the connection to a dominant sound. All right, in this example, I'm using a note that's actually outside a minor pentatonic in the blues scale. I'm using the 6th E to bend up to the flat 7, F. And then I move back up. So normally you might not phrase this this way, or even certainly play it on the fretboard this way, but staying on the G string gives it a very specific sound that's really cool. In this one, I start on the 5th of G, which is D, and I bend up a step and a half like Albert King. And then I follow it with these triplets going down the string. So you hear Clapton play this stuff on Fresh Cream, like his solo on I'm So Glad, and Hendrix likes to play stuff like this. So it's sort of a combination of the influence of Albert King and what you would hear from Clapton or Hendrix.